What is good, guys and girls of YouTube? It is me, Justin Omoi, here with the video for you guys and girls to learn about, DAW terminology so you can understand your workspace, aka your DAW digital audio workstation, even more better. So yes, I'm gonna try and make my videos quicker so you guys can, learn faster and such. So yes, today we are gonna talk about signal flow. Now, signal flow is a term used in DAW to actually identify how a input goes in, what it goes through, and then how it comes out. Sometimes you have problems and then you'll have to go to the signal flow, which is basically tracking from the start. Okay, I got this here, I'm doing this, it's going through there. All right, what's wrong with it? Why is it not playing? Oh, that's why. Okay, that's it. Click it, we fix the problem. So yes, I'm gonna show you the pathway of a signal flow used in FL Studio for you guys and girls, to learn. So yeah, for this example, we are going to take a look at what you call it, insert 12, the string synth. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit play. I'll go ahead and raise this up. Cool. So in this, we have a reverb, a parametric EQ, and a delay as well. We stereo separated, opened it a little bit, and we lowered the fader. Notice that we have the wave candy. Let me go ahead and just move this one out the way. Move away. We are focusing on the black one over here, right here. This vector scope. This is going to show us, volume as well as panning. So yes, I'm gonna hit play again, and notice when I alter it, nothing happens. So yes, notice the level of the wave here. So you might have seen it and be like, wait, what? We raised the fader, we lowered it down to 0. Why was still a signal? Why was there a signal in there still? Well, that's because of signal flow. So if we do use the signal flow process, we can understand why this happened. So yes, starting from the top, we're gonna start with where the sound comes from. So in this case, in the song, I actually recorded this from my keyboard, my Casio keyboard. I don't think it's in the picture. This one right here. So yeah, I plugged it in with a guitar cable, plugged it into my audio interface, and then of course, depending on the gain and such, it's gonna alter how it sounds. And yes, so once the audio went into recording, let me just make myself look pretty again. Well, that's impossible. Anyways, when I went into recording, it recorded as a sample sound or a recorded sound. So now it's here. So I'm going to press play. And yeah, and then I just chop it up and edit it. But yes, anyways, we have the sound here. This is where it first starts. It first starts in the pattern or the channel rack part. So if I press play again, notice how it does play in this little vector scope. I'm gonna close the playlist because you don't have to see this. And yeah, cool. So notice the sounds went through there as we played it, which is normal because when we have the channel, we track it into the insert inside of our mixer. So it goes from the channel rack into the insert, and then from the insert, it goes into the effects slots. Now notice I didn't say it goes into the fader, it doesn't go into the pan, it doesn't go into the stereo separation, none of these. It goes into the effects, the inserts first. So that being said, if we have these little channel panning and channel volumes right here by our sound, let's name this string synth real quick. And the H, cool. If we alter this, it will show up on the wave candy. You know why? Because it's being altered before we put it into the effects mixer. And then it goes through the wave candy, which is slot 10, the last slot. So I'm gonna go ahead and press play again. And notice when I pan it to left and right, you'll see it pan to left and right. Same with the volume. Notice how that works where doing it on the fader doesn't. So let's say why. Why does this happen? Again, signal flow. After it goes through the insert effects as well as the little onboard equalizer, it will then go into, the the panning, the fader, the stereo separation, all of that. It'll go into the panning first, if I believe so. Yeah, it'll go into the panning as well as the mute, which is a little green button. Then it will go into the faders. So yes, even if we do mute the sound and we pan it all the way to the right, it doesn't show up in the wave. You know why? Because the signal flow. I like to keep saying this, but it's because of signal flow. Once the signal is sent and it's going through all the effects, then it goes into the mute, the pan, the inverting polarity and swapping left and right channels, as well as stereo separation, volume, and even routing in the end. So yes, that being said, that is signal flow basically to that extent. Now, if you're wondering, let me stop that. If you're wondering about microphones like in and out, as you see here, there's an in and then there's an out here. What's the deal with that? Well, for this case, it will go into all the stuff. The in will be the first, input. That'll be, in accordance at the same spot where the pattern channel rack is. It goes through there, it goes through the effects, then it goes into the fader. That's why when you record and you have effects in the insert slot, that's why it records with it. That's why I advise most of you guys and girls not to do that unless you do want to make permanent choices when it comes to recording your sounds. That's totally fine, just make sure it's your judgment. So yes, and as for out, this little out thing right here, how come this is set to none and we still hear it in our, ears? In this case, it'll be which called output 1 and 2. The reason being is because this is actually routed into the master channel. So notice a little green string right here, and it goes over here. This over here in the master, it has the out set to 1 to 2. Now, what if I set the out to 3 and 4, and then I hit play? Notice you don't hear the sound, and as well, I don't hear the sound. And that is because on my little Focusrite, let me see if I can just lift this thing up for you. No, I can't, whatever. On my Focusrite, this actually has 2 different ways to output, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. My headphone slot does have a choice to go to 3 to 4. So what I'm going to do is switch it and you'll hear it in the headphones. Notice how that works. That's because that's another way of signal flow is going out to a different port. It's a different output. So if we switch this to 1 and 2, we're gonna hear it again because that's how you're getting the output. And yeah, even there, let me lift this up. Even there with my Focusrite, what I'm doing is notice here at the Focusrite, I am having the output. I wish the flash is better. Cool, yeah. Notice how there's a 1 and 2 by the white and the red. Sorry for all the shaky and weird noises. But yes, this cable then goes into my microphone. This is another term of signal flow. Now, once it goes into the microphone is transducing it into the USB port, and that's going into my computer. You might be confused as to why and what is going on and why do I need to do that in order for you guys and girls to hear. And that's because ASIO drivers, it doesn't want us to win. It doesn't want us to hear more than one sound at the same time. Let me just fix that. So yeah, I eventually put this into another program so it records and it sounds okie dokie. So last time, signal flow is the way of processing the sound from input to a next routing channel, next part. So yes, if you do come across some signal flow problems, you could go through starting from the beginning and finding out what the problem is. Of course, there's more than just the mixer board. There's, of course, MIDI channels, MIDI slots, and, the whole pattern playlist here. So let's say we mute some of these, and then we're like, wait, why is it not working? Signal flow. Signal flow. This is not temporary. This is technically a muting of the sound. So that's another signal flow problem. And yeah, so that is what signal flow is. Hopefully you guys and girls actually understand what the heck I was saying. Let me bring the light to make myself look a little bit nicer. And yeah, let me just switch for myself. So yes, hopefully you guys and girls learned something from this. Signal flow once more just the routing of the channels, the in to the out, how you hear stuff, and so forth. Yeah. My name is Justin Omoi. Be sure to like the video if you like the video. Of course, subscribe if you want to learn more DAW terminology. And don't worry, we're going to get into making beats and all the other stuff when it comes to music. And yeah, I already did a lot on vocal performance as well as equipment. So be sure to check that out if you don't know who I am. And yes, my name is Justin Omoi. Thank you for watching as always. And yeah, peace. I had to do it twice just so you know, so you can hear it. There you go. Signal flow. It goes into the microphone, then it goes into the program, and then it goes